Hi, I'm Christopher Crumley, Associate Editor at SDM Magazine, and today I'm sitting down for a conversation with SDM's 2024 Dealer of the Year, Guardian Alarm. Brent, would you introduce yourself?
Yeah, thanks, Chris. It's great seeing you again. I'm Brent Ewell. I'm the President and CEO of Guardian Alarm.
Brent, I really appreciate you making time. I guess I just want to start off by saying, for those who don't know Guardian Alarm, I am actually local, so even my neighbors, when I walk around the block, I see Guardian Alarm and windows and outdoors. But for those who don't know, who is Guardian Alarm?
Well, so Guardian is a long-time local Michigan company, started in 1930 by Milton Pierce and the Pierce family. Um, the children ran the business after the father, and private equity bought the company just over 7 years ago. And myself and the leadership team, for the most part, have been here about 4 years. But we're number 14 in the country, and we're really only in 2 states. The majority of our business is commercial in nature, but we have a large residential base as well, about 60-40 commercial residential. We're a full service integrator, so we do everything from lead to cash. So we do all our own marketing, all our own sales, all our own installs, all our own service, and we have our own Five Diamond Central Station here to support our customers as well. So that's a quick overview. 98% of our customers are in 2 states, Michigan and Ohio. So we're what you call super regional.
Initially, I kind of wanted to dive right into why was this year, Guardian's year. But first, I wanted to ask a bit about, having those kind of like family-owned roots and stuff. If we could talk a bit about Guardian's, kind of culture and whatnot. And I know, I believe the term you guys use is one team.
Right. Well, yeah. So this leadership team has been in place for the most part just around 4 years. And one of the things that I think we recognized was there was a culture opportunity. The company transitioned from a family-run business to, a business owned by private equity, and the prior leadership team brought in a lot of structure and what I would just call more corporate philosophies. Not that they're bad or good, but it was a little bit of a shell shock for the organization. And I felt like when we got here about 4 years ago, we had a cultural opportunity. So we came up with our core 8 cultural values, and really, basically, the foundation of it's all around the customer experience and the employee experience, and then kind of laid beneath that. I won't go through all 8 of them, but laid beneath that is really one team, meaning we're going to work together. We all need to collaborate, engage, continue to evolve and adapt, and be accountable to one another. So that's kind of layered underneath that. And that's really where the one team philosophy came from. It really came from an opportunity that we saw where I felt like, for being a smaller company, we're $85 million company. We just weren't a cohesive unit. Every department kind of focused on how to make their department the best without really focusing on the entire company, across the board. And so we really tried to break down those silos. And I feel like, we've done that as an entire company, and we're operating, much better as one team than I think we have in my history of being here. So there's really 8 of those cultural values. One team is just one of the 8.
Wonderful. And I assume that kind of cohesion, that cultural cohesion, is probably part of what led to, if you want to give me some insight into why, this past year was Guardian's year, in your opinion.
Why it was our year? You know what? Yeah. I'm going to be very humble about this, because there's tons of great companies out there, and I'll leave it to the judges to talk about why they picked us. But I can tell you, we are very committed to our customers. We're very committed to our team members here, just over 400 team members now. And we're really focused on the key drivers of the business, um, the key metrics that really impact success of the company and success of the business, layered around the customer and our team members. And I think you combine those things, we have a good story. I mean, our revenue grew faster than the industry average. Our attrition's better than the industry average. Our cost to serve, our net margins are strong from a cost to serve perspective. We've really worked hard to get our G&A costs down. And, overall, I just feel like we've had a really solid year, but there's tons of great companies out there and we feel honored to win the award.
Well, congratulations again. If I haven't said it already.
We appreciate it.
Up next, Karen, did a nice feature on you guys, and one of the things that she was most interested in were your guys' approach to metrics, and I suppose I have a couple of questions about that. You guys had identified that was part of what you would attribute your success to. So I was curious, I know it's a bit broad, but what is Guardian measuring, and could you give me an idea of maybe a success story of how you're looking at that data and you guys are responding to it, things of that nature, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I always say what gets measured gets done, what gets done gets rewarded, what gets rewarded gets repeated. So I think that it's critical that you have the dashboards that you need to make real-time decisions to improve the business. This is a great industry. I've been in a long time. There's not that many things that you really have to keep your eye on, but I do feel like, we've really built all the dashboards out, whether it's in our cost to serve, whether it's in our marketing, sales, lead production, what our conversion rates are, whether it's our metrics that we really focused the past 18 months on our metrics around marketing spend and what the actual returns are, and making sure we're putting that in the right areas. Over the past several years, we've built out all the customer dashboards with real-time feedback of what our customers feel about us, based on every interaction they have with us. That's been new in the past several years. For 6 years in a row, we've reduced attrition, and we analyze, dice, and slice that every way you want to see it. So, I mean, it's too big of a broad question to say what metrics do you look at. I mean, we could spend an hour just talking about that, but at the end of the day, it comes down to sales and marketing metrics. It comes down to customer experience metrics. Comes down to employee experience metrics. Comes down to productivity and efficiency metrics that help get our creation costs down, which is an area we still need to improve. So there's just a lot of different things. And I feel like we use Power BI as our business intelligence tool. And we have an FP&A team and a dedicated business intelligence person that really helps us build out dashboards in concert with our in concert with our IT team. And, I feel like, when people have access to data and you focus on something, it's going to get better. And so, that's something that's kind of core to our philosophy is we want to measure ourselves against ourselves and continually get better. One of the core eights, evolve and adapt, which is really about continual improvement. We're never going to, everyone's like, oh man, when are we going to hit the finish line? And I'm the one that always tells them there is no finish line. Sorry, we're going to keep running as hard and fast as we can. If you think there's a finish line, there's not.
Can I ask, about the BI team and the service use? How long has that structure existed? I suppose I'm curious, in a more general sense, kind of like, how long this version of your guys' metric, kind of analysis has existed.
So we've had some version of Power BI for probably, it was pre this leadership team. The prior leadership team put in Microsoft Dynamics as our CRM. That was a big lift. That's part of putting in a corporate, professional structure to a family-run business. And, it's been transformative. I would say that, IT has been the primary developers of our business intelligence since the 4 years I've been here. But earlier this year, hired a dedicated business intelligence person to work on the FP&A team and be a little bit closer to the business, work with IT and the data group to make sure that everything that we build out in there is helpful. And I would say it's really accelerated, over the past couple of years, what we're looking at. And we think it's only going to be better now that we have, a little bit more focus on more real-time building out dashboards, which we've done for the past, 6 to 9 months.
Wonderful. I only have a few more questions. One of them being, I know you guys recently acquired, was it SDG?
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm curious. I'm assuming acquisition isn't, necessarily top of mind, but when it comes along, how Guardian kind of approaches that? What are your guys' philosophy on acquisition?
It's interesting. That's a great question. So, the company, I went back and did research, and I could find the Pierce family bought 28 security companies through the years since 1930. So part of the growth strategy of the family business was, obviously incremental organic growth combined with buying good quality companies through the years. And so, we focused on starting year 2 of this leadership team being put together. We started looking at acquisitions, and our philosophy really is simple. Are the companies long-term family-run companies in the markets that they're in and have a good brand reputation? That's first and foremost. Second is it's got to be accretive to EBITDA for us. It's got to help us, not hurt us from an earnings perspective. Third, we want to have a greater mix of commercial probably than residential, but around a 50-50 split is good. And so we've held true to that. We've done 4, I would say, acquisitions, 2 kind of each year for the past couple of years. We did SDG this year, and we did SDG was in Columbus, which grew our subscriber base probably about 50% in that market. Really great acquisition for us. That company was started in 1971, so been around a long time. We just did another acquisition in Cincinnati. And so just to round out that conversation, so far they've been really focused more on our footprint because density is so important in this business. You want to roll a truck to 1,000 customers in a zip code for efficiency perspective versus 10 in every zip code and spread all over the country. We're very dense. But we're now starting to look at more strategic acquisitions that fit that profile that I highlighted that are outside of our footprint to begin growing our regional makeup. Right now we have 5 branch offices. We cover all of Michigan here out of Southfield. We have Columbus, we have Toledo, we have Cincinnati, and we have Cleveland. Our goal is to be a top 5 provider in all those markets. I would say we're a top 5 in 3 of the 5, and we're working on the other 2. And now we're looking at adjacent areas with really well-run companies that we feel we can add to our branch network. So it's changing a little bit as we move into 2025 than what it's been for the past couple of years. But we'll still look obviously for great opportunities within our footprint, but I think we'll look more outside of our footprint as well.
Wonderful. And kind of an opportunity to put a bow on it. Can you offer, sort of as a closing, advice to other dealers who may be listening?
Oh man. Well, our company's part of Net1, and I will tell you, that's made up of roughly 25 of some of the best security companies in the industry all across the country. And I feel like I learn as much, from that group going to conferences a couple times a year that I could probably, that they could learn from me, so I feel like, that's a nice group to measure yourself against and learn from. I would just say, fundamentally, if I have to just summarize a couple things, we all know the key metrics. I'm not going to talk about that, what drives a good business in this industry. But I think fundamentally, if you focus on your customer experience and not just focus on it, but measure it, and your team member experience and not just focus on it, but measure it, we have tools to do that. I think that's the best place to start. And I'm a huge culture person. Like, I feel like, culture really drives, if you do it right, I feel like culture really drives profitability. It accelerates growth and it drives an incredible customer experience. And listen, we're not perfect, but I feel like those are two foundational things that we're doing pretty well. And that's where I would start. For dealers listening to this, they know the areas they need to focus on as a business, but those are two that I would say are foundational to be a great starting point for them.
Well, Brett, congratulations one more time, and thanks for making time for me.
Thanks. I appreciate it, Chris. Nice seeing you again.
Likewise.